Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about something that is really important to me and I think is probably important to you guys, but you may have not heard of the term. So what I'm going to be talking about today is social and emotional learning. And before I get into the video, I just wanted to quickly announce that make sure you guys stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be giving away something on this topic, so make sure you stay tuned for that. I also just wanted to quickly announce that spots for my one-to-one are opening up, so if you'd like to schedule a consult, make sure you use the link down below and get on that. If you're a mom going through grief and loss, especially during this time, it's such an important time. A lot of people are experiencing numerous types of losses, whether that's loss of their job, loss of connection, loss of their loved ones. There's just so much going on right now, and we really need to be mindful of that and be mindful of how we're handling the situation and how our kids are also handling the situation. So if you find yourself in that situation, make sure you use the link below and sign up for the consult. But with that being said, let's get into the video. Today we're going to be talking about social and emotional learning. So an abbreviation for that is SEL. So if you ever see me talking about SEL in any kind of social media post, this is what I'm talking about. So social and emotional learning is the process by which children and adults acquire and apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, show empathy, and establish and maintain positive relationships, and also make responsible decisions. So that in itself is a whole lot. It's a lot to process, and SEL covers, a lot of different aspects, but it's really just about two main things. It's really understanding ourselves and understanding society. And having those two things in mind, you can acquire the skills to do all of these things, have positive relationships, set your own goals, manage your own emotions, and things like that. So there's a lot that encompasses social and emotional learning, but I kind of pointed out here, I don't even know if you can see this, but I have written down conflicts, choices, habits, and goals. And so there's four main categories that I think you can apply different principles of social and emotional learning. And so I'm going to walk you through the principles and tell you which ones fit into each category. So there are 5 core principles. And the first one, and I think ultimately the most important one, is self-awareness. So that's recognizing that our thoughts and emotions play a role in how we behave and interact with others. And I think that kind of goes along with choices, because that is a choice that we make to ourselves to kind of recognize what's going on and understand that we have complete control of the way we conduct ourselves in society. But again, that's still having the skill to understand and even acknowledge that these emotions are happening and that they exist and that we need to do something about it. We need to move through them. We need to cope with them. We need to handle them. And so the second principle kind of goes along with that, and that's self-management. So that's being able to manage that emotion. It's one thing to recognize that our emotions and our thoughts play a role in how we behave, but it's another to be able to manage those emotions so that they don't intervene with behavior. And this is really important when it comes to kids, because a lot of times when you're seeing those bad behaviors, not listening, ignoring, just things that you don't want to see in a child, it's always because of some underlying issue that, they really haven't processed. So I think the two biggest things that are going to come into play when behavior is always in question, it's always a want or a need. And so you kind of have to figure out and, get creative with the ways that you get to the root of the problem so that you can understand and help them manage their emotions. So the third core principle is social awareness. And so that's really about taking perspective and empathizing with others from diverse or different cultural backgrounds. And it's really about understanding those social and even ethical norms of our society. And that's something, again, that's hard to teach, and that's something that really you need to have as a perspective and as an outlook so that you can show them how to do it, not just teach them about it. It's one thing to talk about these problems that are happening in the world, but it's another thing to actually do something about it, right? So the fourth core principle of SEL is relationship skills, and that's really about establishing and maintaining those positive relationships. And so this would probably fit under the category of habits, because having a positive relationship is something that occurs on a regular basis. So that's kind of a habit that you have to instill. And I just realized that I forgot to place self-management in social awareness, so I'm going to do that now. So self-management would probably fall under, again, choices, and social awareness is conflicts. So, and this is just how I group them. It's not, an industry standard that you have to go by, but this is how I see them play into these 4 categories. So the last core principle is responsible decision making. So that's having the ability to make constructive and even respectful choices about personal behavior and even social interactions. And again, that's based on ethical standards, safety concerns, and even social norms. And responsible decision making would probably fall under the choices category. So I know I just threw a lot at you guys. That is a lot of information, and I totally get it might be overwhelming. And you're probably asking, well, how do I do this? Right? And that's a perfectly normal question. You probably want to put these into practice and actually apply these tools to gain these kinds of things. So you want your kids to have social awareness, self-management skills, responsible decision-making, and maintaining your positive relationships. And I totally get that, and I hear you. And that's why I wanted to film this video today, because I wanted to describe some of these things that I'm going to be talking about in the next couple of videos. I wanted you guys to have a bigger picture idea in mind so that we can move through this and work through this together. So today's video was just describing what social and emotional learning is. And stay tuned for next week's video, because we're going to talk about some tools to actually apply to move forward and, gain some of these principles and these skills that we can instill. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys are excited for next week when we actually get to talk about how to apply this stuff. So stay tuned for that.